dogs go to heaven?
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
No, here's my next question. How old is Wesley? You're
15. He's 15 years old.
And what kind of dog is it?
He's a West Highland Terrier mix.
So he's he's a cute dog.
Yeah.
I love your dog.
I love Wesley.
But he's 15. He's really old.
He's getting
in dog
up there.
years, like he's older than me.
He's getting up there.
Yeah.
He's now at the point where when he sleeps, his tongue sticks out of his mouth a little bit.
Ironically, so does mine.
And how old is Bo?
Bo's only 5.
Oh, you got a lifetime.
I know.
He's going to outlive you, Dan.
He probably will. Yeah, for sure.
I don't wish that upon you.
I don't
just want you to know that.
Well, and this will go into our next conversation. So today on Life Talks, we're discussing the topic, do dogs go to heaven? Will you see your kitties again? Will your pet
And he means by Kitties, not kitties, as in children.
Right.
Kitties.
Oh, kitties.
Kitties.
Yes, well, we have a certain member of our staff who has all of her feline ashes ready for burial with her.
Well, there's some people. Well, okay, so you know what the quick answer is?
Uh-oh. Hey, brace yourself, people.
Dogs do go to heaven, cats do not.
I agree.
So,
I'm a dog lover, not a cat lover. Listen,
you got it here first. Rudolph said cats.
I know all you cat lovers out there are like, how dare he? I've just have never liked cats. I don't get it. I don't understand
you're
them.
going to get so much hate mail, dude.
I mean, if I was going to own a cat, and okay, so this is, if I was going to own a feline pet, it would be a tiger.
Oh my gosh.
That would be it.
And now we have an interview with the
Tiger King Season 3, Ben Rudolph.
I remember as a
Let him out of jail.
child, like imagining what it would be like to have a pet tiger. And that was like, I thought that was the coolest thing.
What was that guy's name out in Las Vegas where the tiger grabbed you by
King.
No, the guy in Las Vegas, the 2 gay guys that had the big show. What was their names? Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah, grabbed him by the throat and
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would want a pet tiger maybe in the New Earth, but not here. Yeah. But anyways, I'm just saying that's the only cat I'm interested in. In owning.
So I've had a variety of pets in my life, from dogs and cats to fish and birds and calves. I had calves every year. We ate them, but we had them.
See, this is what I'm waiting for. Every single time, if you have been so many stories of whether Dan's preaching or in elders meetings or in other meetings, he'll tell this story about this animal and then he died. And like every animal in Dan's life dies.
Well, they do. That's what animals do.
Dan either has slaughtered them or they got eaten by another animal, or an accident happened and Dan had to put a bullet in them. I mean,
I have never shot one of my
Dan could write a book called Dan's Animals. and every chapter ends with "and then Dan killed it."
Yeah.
This is horrible. People are going to think I actually do this. I have never murdered a pet.
No, not murder.
Well, intentionally.
Okay, so continue on. You were starting. I've had multiple animals.
Indeed, but again, partly because I did grow up in a rural culture
as a farmer.
Well, my dad was a full-time farmer, but I grew up on a farm. But we just did not get attached to our pets at the same level that some people do today.
I agree.
And I certainly am not trying to be disrespectful from those who have. I hate this term. It really makes me throw up a little bit in my throat. But fur babies. I just hate that term.
What does that even mean?
I don't.
It means that the animal is a substitute for a child.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's your state in life, I'm not going to judge you on that. Other than to say that there is a theological question that you and I are frequently asked. Billy Graham was asked this question at one point, and that is, where are they when they pass away?
Yeah.
Where are they? Mine are helping my roses.
Well, I mean,
I have a little burial plot out back with my.
I do think that you are saying that growing up on the farm, animals have a utilitarian purpose.
They even dogs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, cats have a utilitarian purpose.
We
Dogs
we always had cats.
You had to have cats because you had to kill the mice, right?
Yeah.
Right, and then there'd be times where you had to animal control the cats,
and we were not allowed to let them in the house.
Right.
Yeah. First of all, I'm really allergic to cats, but
but
I like a little kitten. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you.
Little cats are fine. But okay, so I do think that there's a couple of principles that I think we should understand when we're talking about this topic.
By the way, if your kids are in the car, you might want to change.
Oh, it's a little late for that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, well, make it worse.
Number one, I think that animals are a reflection of God's creativity, design, and goodness.
Yeah, I love animals. I go to a zoo every city I go
love
to.
zoos. Zoos are awesome.
They're my favorite.
Yeah. So I do think there's something about the animal kingdom that does reflect the goodness and the glory of God. At some, otherwise, why wouldn't he create all these incredible species?
And we know he values his creation.
That's right. Even snakes.
Well,
Dan?
He
It's a
cursed
different episode.
He cursed the snake.
No one asked if spiders go to heaven.
I don't even mind spiders, but I curse snakes.
Yeah, I
I'm with
know you
God on
do.
that.
I know you do. So I think we need to understand that animals are good in and of themselves. Okay, that's a good thing.
He tastes good sometimes.
See,
I'm
trying to have a
You can't do it.
theological
I'm so
conversation,
sorry. I am so sorry.
and Dan is.
I'm so sorry.
Have you ever eaten dog? I'm just
Yes.
curious. Have you really?
Yes, I have in Thailand. Just because I want to be able to brag about the rest of my life.
Wow. Okay. Well,
He knew that he would be on a podcast one day.
No,
he's
I mean,
all right. Get this. 2 episodes ago,
This is where the emails.
He's
are gonna be.
never eaten a Big Mac, but he has had dog.
That's actually amazing that we have learned that today.
Okay. So I think number one, animals are a reflection of God's creativity, goodness, and design. And then I would say this: I believe that we shouldn't diminish the gift of pets. Like
Yeah.
there's
That's important. I love my
they're a good gift from God to us. That this idea of domesticating certain animals can be an enjoyable part of life. I mean,
Even in the Bible, there's a story of the guy who had the lamb that was like a child to him. They
right?
Yeah, stay in the
Yes,
house, remember?
yeah, exactly. So all of us. I mean, it's interesting now that our dog is 15. I mean, we know that Wesley's not going to live forever, and my kids are always like, "Dad, what are you going to do when Wesley dies?" And I'm like, bury him. And I joke with him because my kids, he's been a part of our family
Yeah.
for 12 years. We adopted him when he was 3. He is a part of our family. Like I do not diminish the love. I mean, we will weep tears when Wesley dies.
Yeah,
Okay.
I cried when my last dog died.
So I don't want to diminish that. And I think people that ask this question really have had a genuine love and care for their pets. And for sometimes they do, the connection is beyond just, I like having a dog or a cat, but I went through a divorce or I lost a child or I couldn't have children. And these pets almost represent this presence in our life that filled a need or desire for us.
Or a void, yeah.
Or a void. And I think we need to honor that. I don't want to diminish that. We joke about, but I think the reality is we need to call out the good that pets are and say they are a good gift from God. So let's just, those are the first 2 points. The third point I would say is this: there is a definite difference between the value of humans and the value of animals. All right. The Bible makes clear that it's only humankind that was made in the image of God, male and female.
And that's really important because it goes to evolutionary theory. They are a separate creation from man.
Completely.
Because evolutionary theory says, a frog is a dog is a puppy, a frog is a puppy, a puppy's a boy. And,
Right.
And
we've all evolved from certain, the primates and they have their
Yep.
they have their order of evolution that they go from. But I think because of evolutionary philosophy that's kind of taken over most people's mindset, we look at, that rabbit has as much value as this child over here. And it's like, no, that's not true. Okay. So the whole idea that Jesus's death, the idea of redeeming creation, I believe that there is a redemption of all creation. There is because even the book of Romans talks about how the earth groans with birth pangs for the day of redemption. So I think there is a creation, the idea of redeeming creation, but I think ultimately why Christ died was to save our souls, to save us, body, soul, and spirit, and to be with him in oneness, because that's what God's design was. So I think that we need to understand that salvation primarily is for humanity.
primarily
Yeah. Well,
salvation.
yeah. Because what I mean is there is going to be a redemptive of all creation, the whole universe. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, when
okay?
I'm thinking salvation, I'm thinking, I guess, of eternal life.
Yeah. Okay. So but I would say there is a work of Jesus's death and resurrection that is that is universal. I'm not saying.
I would say I want to be because I would say it is a consequence of
New
Christ's
creation.
sacrificials. It's of the new creation that comes as part of the reward for man's redemption.
Right.
But the death of Christ on the cross was to save our soul.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. All I'm saying is there's something.
I just didn't want to end up in some kind of internet clip
No.
Julie Roy's website or something.
All I'm saying is there is going to be. We know in the future there. If it was only about our souls, then when we die, our souls would go to heaven, and we just live in an ethereal, immaterial future.
Right.
But that's not the case. Jesus is going to purge all creation, and there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, and therefore all creation will be redeemed. That's what I'm saying. The entire creative order.
Do you think he'll bring back extinct animals?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sure,
Like we know.
I do too.
So here's what we know. Knowing that there is going to be in this future eternal state animals, and we know that from two verses in Isaiah chapter 11 and Isaiah chapter 65 that talk about the wolf laying down with the lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how the lion will eat hay. Talking about how the bear and the cow will be together. It even talks about how a child will play with in the cobra's hole or something like that, adder hole, whatever.
Could those be all metaphorical, or do we think that of those are literal?
Yeah, I think there's a literal future reality that's physical.
We know that there are animal-like creatures in heaven already. We know that they're winged creatures.
That's true. Yeah.
That's a good point.
So I do think, our understanding of animals dying and going to heaven, will Wesley, when he dies, go to be with Jesus in heaven? No, because they don't have souls the way we do.
And I think that's really important. That's the distinction. Is there something special about humans? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
And what is that? Well, one of the qualities is the possession of an eternal soul.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And so I don't believe Wesley will be waiting when I die. After Wesley dies, I think I'm going to die after Wesley dies. But I don't think I'm going to get up to heaven. Jesus is going to be like, look who's waiting for you. I don't think that's going to happen. But do I believe that in the future, in the eternal state, that God will allow us to have pets again? And will these pets be like our earthly pets? I don't know. Yeah. I do think that we can have animals in heaven. I just don't think God's going to say, I've recreated Wesley for your family to enjoy. I don't think that's going to happen, but I have no proof of that. I just think that we probably will enjoy animals at some level in heaven.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we can be assured of is this. If your thought goes to the point, well, I'll be sad if I go to heaven and my Fluffy isn't there. Yeah. Well, the reality is there will be no sadness in heaven.
That was my fifth point.
Oh, I stole it from you.
You stole my fifth point.
I didn't even read it.
My fifth point is that we will be completely satisfied in Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we will. I don't think that we're going to get to heaven and then be disappointed that, oh, my favorite pet's not here. Yeah. I think we will have a sense of being completely satisfied in Christ, because here's the thing. There's going to be family members that are not going to be with us, right? There's going to be some family members. There's going to be there's going to be people that we love far greater than animals that will not be with us. And I don't believe we'll be in heaven moping around I'm not saying there won't be. He talks about wiping away our tears. And what that means is I think there is an initial, whatever that is, whether that's that tears of joy or maybe initial tears of sadness of, what we missed out on. I don't know. When I mean not missed out on, I think we'll fully be able to understand that of the things that we missed here on earth, ways that we could have served God more, because our minds are going to be completely changed. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe we're going to be walking around in eternity disappointed in anything. I think we'll be fully satisfied and fully enjoying God to the fullest.
So just to push this one step further, though, I think I liked what Dan said. I think some people would make the argument, they would make this a deductive argument, not an inductive one, where they would say, since we know biblically there's going to be no tears in heaven, and since I can know phenomenologically that I could not have a good experience in heaven without Chucky or whoever. That's a terrible name for a dog, but whatever. Shadow, whatever.
I like Chucky. I'm going to name my next dog Chucky.
I don't know where that came from. Like they would say, like, that's how we can know they must be there. So how would you respond to that person?
I would
they
say,
must have a premise wrong.
I would say you have a very big jump to that. Because what I'm saying is no tears does not mean that you're getting everything you want. What no tears means that, again, the fullness of your relationship in the presence of God is satisfying
That's
to
a
you.
great answer.
So I think
I will say to you, though, that Billy Graham, having been asked this question, provided that as his answer.
Oh, he used that example.
Basically, that if you could, it is possible that if you could not be happy without having your Fluffy in heaven or Chucky, that God would allow you to have Chucky in heaven. And I don't agree with that.
That gives him a lot of room, though, because if he says if it's possible,
well, Billy Graham was the ultimate.
if it's impossible for you to have that, which is not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I can't go there. And again,
I think we got to be careful about
Anthropomorphizing.
Thank you. Animals, to the extent that they are not human.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, animals don't fear death the same way that you and I do.
Mm-hmm.
Animals don't possess self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when my dogs, not consistently, some of them have some forms of it. Well, again, but yeah, why does my dog bark at the
television
or at the mirror when he sees me, or runs, or why does a cat come around, sees the cat in the mirror, and then jumps?
I could tell you all about that because philosophers have been studying animal behavior as far as like because there are some animals that at least philosophers and animal scientists do believe that are self-aware. Not very many, but
some
elephants,
primates,
apes,
elephants,
dolphins,
yeah. So there are some, but by and large, there are just fundamental. They have primitive forms of creativity, but they're certainly not creative the way that you and I are creative. So we have to be careful that we don't accidentally buy into the evolutionist mentality again, that there is this egalitarian worth, eternal worth.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it doesn't diminish the worth, as you said, clearly, of the creation, which calls us to be, I think, calls us to be environmentalists at some level, calls us to be good stewards of the creation.
Totally. Yeah.
And we can't abuse animals too.
And,
absolutely.
The
fact that we
and for
can understand morality.
Yeah, and for all my jokes about, I believe you should harvest animals. Yeah. I don't have a problem eating meat, obviously, but anybody that's intentionally cruel to an animal,
I think that's
so
wrong.
Sign it's a sinful thing, and it is also a sick thing.
Yeah. So I think, in conclusion, can we say that we don't believe? I don't believe that animals are in heaven, but I believe that animals will be in the eternal state.
I believe animals are in heaven. I just don't believe your animal is in heaven or my animal is the specific individual. But I do believe there'll be. Well, and again,
you're saying in the third heaven right now, where God's
I don't believe when
throne
they
is...
die they go there. I believe that there are creatures similar to animals of some level.
All right. Okay.
I think that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, hey, I think we answered that.
Yeah.
Send your emails to Dan.
It is important to me because, I overuse humor at times.
You do.
So I've been told. But it is hyperbolic.
Yeah.
Please do know, I really do love animals. I'm taking a safari this summer. I mean, I love
to hunt animals.
No, I'm not.
I'm just teasing.
With my camera.
It's just there's a classic mistake that Christians have sometimes made where they've gone so far, been like, okay, well, since they're different, they have no value, kind of a thing. And so,
I hit my brakes when the little squirrel runs across the street.
Yes, good.
I capture and release.
They can feel pain.
I don't hunt anything I don't eat.
But you do love bacon.
I do love bacon.
Yeah.
And of course, pigs are cursed. So. The cloven hoof.
Okay.
And again, there are people who love their animals very deeply, and while we enjoy laughing and so forth, we're not doing so at your expense. We're doing so, just because this is a tough topic, and
you and I have both cried over pets that we've lost, and we're not diminishing that at all. Yeah. So
and quite frankly, some that I've eaten. Because I think there ought to be a respect that causes us to not slaughter. I'm a big American West aficionado for history, Western expansion. What was done to the American bison
Oh,
is among the
horrendous.
most horrific things
horrendous.
I've ever. I just watched a movie about it recently.
Wow.
It's just horrific.
Yeah.
And
Love of money.
yeah, love of money, excess, and,
Yep.
and just so many things.
Yeah.
So I think all of this conversation also calls us to be good stewards, to love
Yeah.
what God loves, to enjoy his creation fully, to appreciate the beauty and the wonder of the majesty of the creative nature of God.
And I finished my matcha.
No, there's little at the bottom.
It's the
disgusting.
watered down
Yeah,
ice
it's the
cube.
It only took
back-
3
back-
episodes.
I mean, we're talking, people. We're talking.
We are.
I would have finished my Polar Pop had I had one. But
I don't doubt that.
Yeah. Go back to the gluttony episode if you need to understand some of the humor.
as always, folks, thank you so much for joining us on our talks. I don't know if you enjoy them, but boy, Ben and I and
having
Josh
fun.
sure do.
We're having
And
fun.
we always love to hear from you. You can contact us at lifetalks@lifecharlotte.com. Please share us on your social media pages. Follow us. Click likes. Subscribe. All that good stuff.
You should rate us and review us.
Rate us,
We really
review
need
us.
more reviews because the amount of listeners we have compared to reviews
Rates
is
us on
very
Google. Yeah.
So if you could leave a review at some point today, that would help us out.
If you
would be
want other
awesome.
people to discover this,
That's what I'm saying.
That
Yeah.
really is the way.
Yeah.
And until next time, thanks for joining us here at Life Talks.